What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the stream. So, yeah, decided against Killer Instinct tonight. Feeling a little too tired for that. So instead I'm going to play a game that requires even fast reflexes and crashing, but this time mostly on purpose, depending on what mode it is. We're going to go back and play some Burnout 3 instead. Killer Instinct is a lot of fun. I've been wanting to get back to that game for about 7-8 months now. I mean, last time I played it was last year, so great game. Want to get back to it, but we're going to play some Burnout 3 instead, because that was a lot of fun last time. I have gone through, deleted out the corrupted saves, so this time it will actually, we'll be able to save the game and actually make progress and continue to do that, which is going to be great. But, once again, I've had to pretty much turn off the music because it's all licensed music, which will basically, pardon me, just mute the entire stream. Because I do archive all my streams to, well, the majority of the streams to my YouTube channel. And if Twitch detects copyrighted music, it just mutes the VOD. So when you export that off to YouTube, it just mutes it as well. So that's no good. So I created this one today. Apparently did not save that from last time, which is weird. Controllers. There we go. So, unfortunately, because we have to start completely over, means I need to do things. If you've seen the last stream where I was doing Burnout 3, you're going to see the same races again, but now we're actually going to be able to save, make progress, move forward. That also means we're unfortunately trapped watching the unskippable introductions, which totally suck. They're not fun. I'll make sure this is, yeah, this is formatted correctly. Okay.
Okay. Apart from Burnout Racing, you can also take part in the Burnout Crash Championship. Here's everything you need to know, brought to you by me. I'm Striker, right here
Me,
on
a
Crash
loudmouth, annoying man.
Burnout is all about risk and reward.
And unskippable cutscenes.
Well, here's the ultimate risk and the ultimate reward. Hammer your way into these busy traffic junctions and slam into as much traffic as possible. When it's all over, we'll figure out how much damage you've caused, how many vehicles you've tagged, and
how many children you've made into orphans.
All you have to do is beat our damage predictions, and we'll let you on to the next junction. Oh, and to make things really interesting, we've placed some markers for you to hit with your wreck. If you can tag them, we'll give you dollar increases or decreases. And for the ultimate reward, trigger the crash breaker for an explosive surprise. Hey, I did say it was risk and reward. First one to hit the totals gets to try some of the other rides we've brought along. Okay, something new is Crash Aftertouch. If and when you crash, activate Impact Time. When you are in Impact Time, you can steer your wreck. How cool is that? Use Crash Aftertouch to gain Aftertouch takedowns, or to help you get to the places other crashers can't reach. This is Striker covering Crash on Crash FM.
So I was taking a look while the unskippable cutscene played. I was just wondering if I had the other Burnouts downloaded. I do not. Like I said, 1 and 2 were on GameCube, and they play ridiculously well underneath Dolphin Emulator. They play like just about perfectly. So I was thinking like, oh, it'd be kind of fun to show off the original ones, show how the series has changed up to 3 and beyond, which I don't like. But oh well, can't do that we can't do that this stream at least. All right, so I need to get over $140,000 in lives. Let's do it. Hey Mario, good to see you again. And insurance claim. Oh, I don't think I've ever hit that top before. That was neat. Yeah, so my original plan tonight was to, like, play Killer Instinct at first, but I'm just too wiped out for that. So I had to figure, let's just go and make some people into orphans. Because we all know that these cars are filled with people. We can't deny that truth. Unless ghosts are driving, then that's even more concerning. I'm hanging in there. I've been really, really tired today, so... You know, high pain days and stuff like that, so I've been mostly laying down on my couch in my room. Doing almost nothing, so... That's why I figured, well, if I'm really tired, let's play a game that requires you to have fast reflexes, because that'll be even better. So is this or Bayonetta? And I'm like, well, I just did a Bayonetta 2 stream the other day. So we'll do some crashing and everything else. Got the corrupted save files wiped out, so now we can actually save and make progress, which is awesome. Now let's do another crash. Crashes are always a good way to warm up. Hopefully you're doing well. Most people do. All right. Let me know if I need to change the audio balances or anything. Okay, I have no idea where I'm at now. May have gone a little too far in spots. Yeah, I think... Let's just go back this way, see if I hit something. Okay. I wasn't even sure where I was thanks to that explosion. I don't think I've ever seen the tanker explode before. Usually just, like, smashes. That was kind of interesting. Alright, let me see if I can resize this window. It's kind of annoying me that it's not... That's not the right one. There we go, that's the one. Okay. See if I can take it beyond the boundaries, make it a little bit... Because it's basically, it's trying to like change the resolution to fit. That's just about centered, I think. Maybe like that. There we go. I think that will do. I think that should get rid of the borders on the top and bottom, at least, I hope. Oh, I need a back fusion, is why. I need to have my L3, 4, and 5 fused in my lower back. And I've needed this for like 2 years, and like doctors are just fighting against it, which is the craziest thing in the world. They're like, "Oh yeah, you know, we don't want to really fuse your back." It's like I can't walk outside of a shuffle. Pardon me, I'm on fentanyl patch 24/7. It's like, just fuse my back so I can go, you know, get a job, go to work, become productive, you know, things like that people normally want to do. And then my surgeon who said he was going to do my fusion operation backed out at the last minute. So now I have to see a new surgeon in Pittsburgh in about 10 days or so. See if I can get him to do my fusion, because basically it's like I've done like everything for that. It's like I've done like all the physical therapy, I've done back injections, the whole shebang. It's like it just needs to be fused. And the crazy thing is, like, there wasn't like a car accident. I didn't fall off a roof. I didn't push a school bus full of children off of train tracks in the middle of a ninja fight. Nothing like that. Just woke up one day, my back started hurting, and it just progressively got worse. Yeah, it's pretty crappy. So I've been going through this for about 2 years now. And it turns out I'm also opioid resistant. So like oxycodone does absolutely nothing for me. They put me on that at first, like they put me on this whenever you go to pain management, they start you on the lowest dose, like so you're on Vicodin and stuff like that. And then finally got to the point where the pain was getting too bad, they put me on to Oxy. And it turns out that does absolutely nothing for me. It's like you could give me like sugar pills, placebo, and I wouldn't know the difference. I can down an entire like bottle of OxyContin and it will not affect me whatsoever. So then I had to move me up to fentanyl, which is actually doing something, but you know the pain's coming back even worse. So last pain doctor wanted to burn out the nerves in my back and then put me on medical marijuana, which I turned him down. I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. And he's like looking at me crazy like, you're turning down pot? Yeah, there's a reason. I don't function on marijuana. Trust me, I've seen me do it before. I know how I am. If you want to see me sit on a couch and eat pizza all day, I can do that. That's easy. It's like I'm trying to get a job and get out and get going on my own again. So I had to move back in with my parents. It's like, I can't be on pot because I'd be disabled at that point. So I'm looking, and he's dead set against doing fusion. So he talked my surgeon out of it because he knows my surgeon. So that's why I got to go down to Pittsburgh to see another guy to say, hey, just fuse my back. This is all done. Will you fuse it or not? Because that's going to burn out the nerves, remove the discs that are a problem, that are rupturing and everything else, and just make it all one giant bone. So that takes like 6 months to heal. So once like 6 months are up and I'm able to work, you know, I've already had to turn down 5 jobs because of my back. One of them was for a $70,000 a year job, which is quite a good sum of money. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just like, is like the joke is like I've won the lottery for like poor genetics, because like it's just, you know, I have degenerative back is what they call it, degenerative back and degenerative disc. So like no matter what, because like I'm only 37 and I have the back of a person who's like 75, almost 80. According to 2 surgeons I've talked to, they're like, yeah, you have the back of a senior citizen. I'm like, what are you gonna do to fix it? Nothing. I'm like, I hate you. It's like, why are you doing this? Well, you're too young to have surgery. But I'm like, but you just told me I have advanced aging, my back is falling apart. Yeah. So you're gonna do the surgery? No. I'm like, oh, sure, great.
What's up, guys?
Oh no. Unskippable cutscene number 2. Oh, it really is. It's ridiculous because I've figured out like how much insurance has been paying to not fuse my back and to basically keep doing all these things there, and they've spent almost twice as much as what it costs just to fuse my back and get me cured quotation marks, and move on, because I'm expecting to have pain the rest of my life, but I need to be able to like pick things up and walk. You know, it's like if I'm in the same pain I'm in right now, but I can walk and move and work, that's fine. I can put up with that. That's not an issue.
Near misses with other cars.
Because each time they do a back injection, they have to do like a fluoroscope, which is where they can see where the needles are going, and it's how they can know they hit your nerve bundle, or than me screaming in pain, because they don't sedate you for that. They have to know if you're hitting your nerves or not. Now it's like $15,000 each time they do that. And if you have multiple levels like I do, because like a lot of people need a back injection, it's only in like one facet level, like one vertebrae level, and I need to have 3 of them done, so it's total 6 injections. So it's like $15,000. They've done it 3 times. So that's $45,000 just for back injections. And physical therapy, I've had to have 2 surgeries already. Second one cost $90,000 because they had to do reconstructive surgery on my spinal cord, because the first surgeon caused a spinal cord leak, and that damaged the muscles of my back, which caused necropsy, so they had to cut that out and have a plastic surgeon reform the muscles of my back. So they've spent about almost close to $170,000 in
When you are
and like
in
not
part-time,
fusing
you
my
can steer
back.
your
But if they had
left.
fused
How
my
cool
back,
is
it's only
that?
like 35,000. So
Use
they
Crash
spent like so much
Aftertouch
more
to get
ridiculous. It's
after-touch
crazy.
takedowns. Or to help
Well,
you
yeah,
get
exactly.
to
It's like
places
I'm just
other
trying to
crashers
function.
can't
It's like I'm
reach.
just trying to
That was a
get out
public
and get a
service
job
announcement brought to
because
you
I
by
have
Crash
people
FM.
waiting for me to go to work who are literally waiting for me to go so they can offer me money. Because like I went to school for IT, but I have management experience from being call center supervisors for retail sales and customer service. So I have management experience. They're like, oh, great. Well, even though you're brand new to IT and you're still new to that and you're still learning, we need somebody with management experience. So it's like, that's like $60,000 a year. It's like, okay, cool, I'll take it. But I can't work right now. Like, the place I did my externship actually called me up about a month ago. They said, hey, like, is your back fixed yet? Because they knew at the time, like, when I was doing my externship, that's when my back got really bad, and I could, like, barely walk. So they called me up and they said, is your back fixed because we have a job for you if it is? I'm like, nope, sorry. So I've had to tell everybody else, no can do. Hey Jay, what's up? I know this isn't Bayonetta 2. What are you thinking? Yeah, it's the worst because especially that one where I got offered a project lead. They're looking for like a project leader, even though they knew that I was like a rookie in IT. They're like, yeah, you're still learning. All you've done is just your externship, but you have management experience is what we're looking for. And they're like, we're starting off like $70,000. Like, do you want it? I'm like, yes, I do, but unfortunately, I cannot do it. Because it's not like you can just sit. Like, IT is just not like sitting there and going, okay, cool, I'm just keeping an eye on the network and and remote, like fixing people's computers and stuff. You need to actually be able to get up and go to people's computers. And where I did my externship was for a factory, and they were at the headquarters for a manufacturing company. So, and we had people on the factory floor. This is like a huge complex. I mean, this is like almost a mile of like places to go, factory floors. Then because they were the international headquarters, they had probably about 200 staff inside, and engineers and executives and stuff like that, and conference rooms, 2 of them that needed to have computers worked on. So I'd be walking around all day. They're like, hey, it's like this person, we just updated to the latest patch of Windows 10, and they're using software that's 30 years old, running on DOS, and it doesn't work anymore, so we need to go down there and troubleshoot it and get it running. And so, I'd have to spend like 10 minutes walking to get there when I couldn't really walk, and I was at a literal shuffle. So it's like, and then I had to have somebody with me because I couldn't pick up, if we had to replace their computer, I couldn't carry it because it was too much weight, it'd kill my back. And I couldn't, like, carry the other one back if we needed to replace it. So it's like, and then, like, so I got a push cart. Oh, that's gonna probably not win me the race now. So I had a push cart, and then it's like, I couldn't push that because it got too heavy. It's just like, oh my god. Oh, jeez. Restart. Crashed at the last second. So yeah, it wasn't an accident or anything, as I was saying a little bit earlier. Well, that's the thing, like Mario, like you say, like, oh, we have national health insurance. The thing is, you're paying for like a ridiculously high cost. Like, my insurance is $400 a month, but we have lower tax rates around state level around 18%, federal under 15%. Whereas, people in other countries are like, oh, we have like free healthcare. I'm like, well, how much are you paying tax rate? 55%. I'm like, screw it, that's where it's going. You're paying for it, just different ways. So yeah, to answer your question, Jay, I was not in an accident. I wasn't an MMA fighter. I wasn't doing backflips off the top of my house and trying to do jackass stunts. It just woke up one day and my back started hurting. So it's just a genetic thing. I just have degenerative back and discs. My bones and discs are literally like rotting out. Drift King into the wall. It's like I've never seen a hatchback move that fast. Oh yeah, it's not the best. Because it's like, it's great because you go to see a new doctor or surgeon, they're like, how did this happen? I'm like, just woke up one day and my back started hurting. They're like, no, seriously, what happened? We see this like with people who've like had car accidents. Like, nope. Sorry. Alright, so let's hope that this race doesn't crash me at the last second. Oh, that's a big truck. Yeah, I mentioned it last time I played this game, but rubber banding is worse than Mario Kart in this game. How'd that guy not crash? Yeah, so if you can get that guy to go over on the left side, it gives you, like, a special postcard one. I think it was back there. It's either there or here. I mean, it's just all up to the game if it wants to have a car to smash in that direction. Tried it again. It's like, we're gonna make you lose traction. Alright. Now we're fine. I hear the car coming up, though. Yay! That race is done. And for those of you who may be wondering, why is there no music? This is all copyrighted music. And it's music I can't stand to begin with, but it's all copyright stuff, so... It's like, literally, we just get everything completely muted on a VOD, because I do upload this stuff to YouTube. So yeah, all these bands, a lot of emo bands... Except for the Ramones, they're not emo. But I mean, all this is just licensed music, so it would instantly get muted on Twitch VOD. And then you upload it to YouTube, it's still muted, so that's why there's no music and just crashing and racing sounds. Pardon me. What is up here? Alright, new crash. Perfect. Do I like racing games in general? It depends. This is my favorite one. Burnout 3 for me was the pinnacle, because everything after that I just didn't like. Burnout Revenge was really weird mechanics where you have to start your engine right or the car literally explodes. So, and you have to crash into oncoming traffic, so if a car's coming at you, you hit it, that gives you boost speed, but if you hit a car going the same direction you're going, that crashes you. It's completely backwards. So it's a really weird game. And then the last one they had, Burnout Paradise, you had to drive everywhere for your events. It was like totally bizarre because it's like, okay, you want to do a crash event? Well, you got to drive, 10 minutes out of your way to try to find it, then park, and then the event will start. Whereas this one, you can just select it and go. Other than that, I like a lot of arcade-style racers. You know, if it's like a simulation Gran Turismo, I'm not really a fan of those, because if I want to have a simulation, I can just go drive a car. Yay, gold medal. So if it's like arcadey type stuff, then yeah, it's pretty good. There was one of those Need for Speed games, I can't remember which one it was, but it's pretty much, it was made by the guys who made this game. And you could really tell because of a car, like you could smash cars up just like you could in Burnout. It was like, aha. But yeah, Burnout Paradise was just like really open world. Do you have any influence over that Prime subscription Steam extension, that overlay? There is. It's like, I have it here on my desktop. I mean, the dashboard extensions, but I have like no way to get rid of it because I don't do anything with that at all. It's like Prime subscription and loot reminder. You can't turn it off. You can't get rid of it. It just reminds Twitch Prime users to use their channel subscriptions. It's like, and for me, I'm like, if you want to subscribe, you can. But, you know, it's like, there's no, like, I don't want people really to do that. I mean, if you want to, you can. I'm not like, you gotta subscribe to me, because I just do this for fun. You know, same thing for, like, if people donate bits, it's like, that's cool. I'll never see the payout because you need to have $100 before Twitch pays out, and they only pay you 70% of that. So it'd be $70. But I just do this for fun. You know, I don't really have a set schedule. If I don't feel like streaming, then I don't. But yeah, it's really annoying. I can't get rid of that. There's no way to get rid of it. Twitch is like, we want to get people's money because they take half the revenue of a subscription. So if you either do it through Twitch or if you do it through yourself, like the $4.99 a month in the United States, the streamer gets half that. So let's say it's $5 even. So basically, the streamer will get $2.50 of that subscription. Twitch takes the rest of it. I wonder if there's like a Chrome extension that could like disable Twitch extensions, because that would be really helpful. I would actually install that on my computer, on my browser, to get rid of stuff like that. Because a lot of times if I show up in like a stream and you see like weird crap flying on the screen, like where somebody uses a emote in chat and then it starts showing up in the middle of the screen as well, like I just get rid of all that. Yeah, BTTV I've heard. I've tried that before, but it's just like, eh. Move back into oncoming traffic. Almost. Somebody hit somebody else. Thank you. Give me that blow up. Yeah. Yay, gold medal. Alright, so we need to do more races. I think one of the next races that may have opened up is a road rage, which I absolutely love. As I said last time I streamed this, it's my favorite one because you literally race around and the goal is to like make the other players crash. The one thing I do advocate though for Chrome extensions is uBlock Origin, or any type of ad blocker, because that actually blocks Twitch ads. Yay, road rage! I will definitely do that. Yeah, because people watch on, because unfortunately, like, people watch my stream on mobile, and they're forced to watch like ads for like Kentucky Fried Chicken, putting Cheetos in a chicken sandwich, or whatever they feel like advertising that day. And if you have uBlock or anything, that just kills those things from running. Ooh, nice. Private internet access. Ooh, even on mobile, that's cool. That'd be really handy. Alright, so the point of this race is basically I need to crash at least 5 opponents. That's it. There's one. And that's a restart. But online, back when the original Xbox was able to go online, because this is an original Xbox game, this was the mode I played hands down. I didn't play any of the other modes, I just played this one. Oh, yeah, that'd be bad. It's like, hey, I have these things, and it just kills your battery. Okay, some reason that guy crashed himself, and I got credit. And then he crashed into me. Okay, that was a thing. So as you can see, the car is damaged. Okay, that's not cool. So the more it gets screwed up, I mean, the more you run of, like, totaling out your car. Ooh, come out a second time. Okay, that was weird. I should have crashed. Maybe I've used too much vinegar. Right flowers here. Like I said, black vinegar is kind of tricky. I've had ones that were really good, which is basically, it doesn't taste like vinegar at all. It's actually kind of spicy. It's very mellow. And then we have stuff here we can get at Wegmans, which is just like, I don't know what it is. It's gross. So it all kind of varies upon what type of quality you get. I can't really think of a brand off the top of my head of what's a good one. Oh, there's a way around it to set it up, trust your mobile data. But do you have like an unlimited like mobile plan? Because like my mobile, how did I not? Okay, there we go. I was like, wait a second, I should have gotten. There we go. Sweet. Because my mobile is limited. It's like, for the mobile data at least, like when I'm at home, I'll just turn on Wi-Fi, which will suck my battery dry, but I'm not using up my mobile time or my data plan. Because I think like my data is, okay, explain that. My data is like 20 gigs a month for my cell phone, which we don't really come close to using at all. It's like 4 lines sharing 20 gigs, and I think we all use like maybe 6. Yeah, there was no way around that one. Okay, here comes the really weird part. Oh, cool. Give me a double takedown even though they're crashing. Ooh, Mr. Unlimited Data. 2 gigs. That is ridiculous. When I was doing cell phone stuff for Verizon, we'd have like data cards we could sell for people for business. And they would be like 1 gigabyte plan. They're like, I won't use any of that. Like, I'll use hardly any of it. I'm like, do you watch YouTube? They're like, yeah. I'm like, well, that's going to take up the majority of your plan right there. It's like people don't realize like how much data you can rip through without even trying these days. Because everything is high definition, everything's streaming, you go to a website, you have all those ads you have to load up. Anyone there? Nope, no one there to grab them. So then you also have, like, websites will also have videos auto-playing, because I'm just, like, presuming they're, like, low-end users, like, they're not using blockers or anything like that, or disabling autoplay of videos. So it's like, you go there, you're just going to whip through it real fast, and then they're going to charge you, like, arm and a leg for going over. So Verizon's like, yeah, we have a plan here, you can do it with overages, and we'll just charge you, like, another $20 per like 100 megabytes. It was something that you'd still go over real fast again. Wow, okay, cool. Didn't crash. You're on mobile. When you're on mobile, lower down the resolution. Yeah, that's a big one too. Like, lower down the resolution to 480p. You know, take it off HD, or if you have to do HD, just do like 720p, bare minimum. There you go. And that's the thing too, like if you're on a smaller display like your mobile, like your cell phone, if you put it down to 480p a lot of times, it's a small enough display, it's not going to make a big difference. Like my dad's cell phone can do 4K, It's like you don't need 4K on like a 5-inch screen. You're not going to see the difference. I want a new car! $7. Okay, well that's not too bad. Now, Jay, my question is like, where you are, do you have contracts or are you just like month per month? Because certain places, like certain countries, like Japan, does not have, they don't know what in the world a contract is. Because you just basically go, you can buy a SIM card for like $20 or so, and then you're instantly on that plan, and you just basically pay per minute. It's almost next to nothing. So like your bill will go up and down, but it's basically for that. And if you don't like that one company you bought the SIM card from, just basically buy another one. You can instantly, they have SIM card stations to transfer your data over, like your information from your old SIM card to your new one, pop it in, and you're good to go again. So you can just change plans, like change companies like it's nothing. So since they don't have contracts, they have like extreme competition, so prices are like crazy. Like data caps are not really a thing there. Alright, so we have another crash. I only got a silver on this? What? Ooh, that sounds pretty bad. $7 a month, all inclusive. Yeah, because in the States, like we have, you can go with a carrier, like a big provider of cell phones, like Verizon or AT&T, and those are the big ones here in the United States. Or you can buy yourself a prepaid phone. They also like Verizon Wireless, Sprint, AT&T. They have those as well, and that's not good. But you pay like $40. There's no contract, but you have like unlimited calling, unlimited data, things like that. So they have some options, but it's still kind of pricey. They haven't really come down a whole lot. Yeah, definitely put some money in there. Go charge that up. I thought I got a gold on this last time. Aren't parents wonderful like that? Like here in the States, we have a religious subsect of people known as the Amish. They basically shun technology, electricity, things of that nature. So like, and we live in what's known as Amish country. Like they're all around here. So you'll be driving and you'll see a person like literally in a horse-drawn carriage, like, you know, like it's the 1800s. Yeah, exactly. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. Perfect. So I always like to tell people when it comes to technology that like my parents are one step shy of becoming Amish. So it's like, you know, because people are like, oh, I don't know anything about technology or anything. It's like, trust me, my parents are one step shy of Amish and they can do it. So like anybody can do it, but sometimes they just get confused by the easiest things. But yeah, we got to think about it too. Like from our perspective, we're used to these things. So, you know, it's like, for us, it's second nature, but if we try to do something from like 30, 40 years ago, we might be lost on it. Like, if I were to take my brother and drop him into a library and have him find something through the index cards or the Dewey Decimal System, he's going to be completely lost. You know, because that wasn't his generation. Like, looking things up in encyclopedias, because Wikipedia was not a thing when I was a child. You had to look up information in a book, which is probably outdated. Yeah, they were originally German in origin, German and Dutch, but a lot of German. But they've been so isolated that their German is like almost 200 years old. So it's like, in German, like English, has a lot of slang and changes constantly. So that's probably, a good reason why you couldn't understand. Either the accent was really weird, or it was just a, just outdated language. Okay, well, I have to use this car. Right. It's like, you're getting back to nature type deal. You're living a simpler life, but at the same time, it's like, I like computers. I like internet and all these things. It's like, I don't think I can live like that. Hey, Sakito. Was it Sakito? Yeah, Sakito. What's up? Oh, almost made that turn. Slow down. We ain't slowing down. We're going fast and reckless. We're doing dumb stuff. It's burnout. It's what you do. Oh no. Ah, there we go. Well, that's the thing too, is like, stupid train in the way. It's like, a long time ago, almost married a girl who was let's polite way of putting it, is a hippie. She's kind of more modernized and through the years, especially after meeting me. But she grew up in a house without electricity or indoor plumbing. Compost toilets were the norm for her childhood. So, it's like I actually have a picture of her hugging a tree. So, for her, it was kind of an adjustment when we started dating, because she was like all spiritual, like in trees and reading books all the time, which I love to read myself, but I mean, like having like not the most basic of things. So it's like, then it was like, well, it's like, here's like, so one time she stayed at my house. Like, she actually came out to see me where I was living, because I had moved out of the state, and then she came to actually kind of like basically pursue me for a change. So she was like blown away just by like technology. It was like DVR technology where you can pause TV. She thought it was like the world's most craziest thing in the world. She's like, "Oh my god, what did you do? How did you do this?" It's like, it's called DVR. It's like you can pause TV, you can record TV shows and everything, and she just thought it was the craziest thing ever. I could tell her jokes from like Bugs Bunny cartoons from like 70 years ago, and she would laugh hysterically thinking that I had made up the joke. I'm like, that's from like a Bugs Bunny cartoon from like 1942. So it took her a while to get kind of used to it. Yeah, she adjusted really quick. I mean, she wasn't like completely out of the loop. I mean, we were both working at Walmart when I met her. It was like, so it's not like she was just like right off the boat, like in the middle of the woods type deal. But it's just how she had grown up, so she had missed out on so many different things. And then like her life was still kind of isolated after that fact. Like, she didn't go out of her way to do a whole lot of things, so her worldview and knowledge of things was still kind of just really, like limited. And yes, outhouses build character for kids, especially if they have to dig it themselves. Okay, this is why I need to be on the other side of the street. Whoa, okay. Yeah, there's no way I can dodge that one. And these burning laps are crazy. Like, if you don't hit it just right, like if you crash one time, you're not getting like the gold medal. So yeah, I mean, like, I'm not saying like reading books like, oh my god, she read books. I mean, it's like she didn't watch TVs or movies. I had to show her Star Wars. She had never seen it before. She had heard of it. She had a concept of it, but she had never seen it. So, like, I had to show, like, you know, things like that, because, I mean, like, literally, she grew up without television and, like I said, electricity, indoor plumbing, things like that, so... And she was literally, you know, like I said, I have a picture of her hugging a tree, so... It was truly a case of opposites attract. I was a fat, balding, overweight nerd, and she was just... really pretty, still is pretty hippie, you know, hippie kind of Mayan child there, like just different, completely different worlds, and you know, it was an opposites attract type situation. Which can be nice, but I mean, but then at the end of the day, though, we didn't have a whole lot of things in common. Like, I'd be playing video games, she just didn't understand it. She's like, why are you wasting your time doing that when you could be reading a book or something, or learning more things? It's like, I like video games. You know, same thing like being on the computer. And then she got a laptop, like her father's like, well, let's get you a laptop so you can see what he's doing all day. You know, then she got kind of absorbed into that. Okay, silver medal it is, which is not too surprising. Well, that was the thing is, like, I had brought home, it was Empire Strikes Back on DVD, and it was supposedly the unmessed with version that George Lucas was supposed to put out, and it was still screwed up. He basically took, like, the crappiest VHS version and transferred it that way, put no effort into it, it looked like garbage. And she couldn't understand why I was so, like, so upset by it. And then I was like, well, like, don't you remember this movie? She's like, I've never seen it. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, you've never seen Star Wars? She's like, no. I'm like, okay, we're watching this now. It's like, let me download the first movie. And I'm like, this is the special edition, because at the time you couldn't get the normal unscrewed with versions. And no, I did not subject her to the prequels. I didn't even tell her they existed. It's like, I just left that completely out of the entire thing. It's like, there's Star Wars 1, 2, and 3. There are no prequels. You know, we'll just let it run like that. Which is kind of cool now, because George Lucas has pretty much been rumored to destroy the original Masters. Yeah, you didn't watch until you're 16, but she was like, gosh, how old were we at the time? I was in 20. She was like 27, 28, and she had never seen Star Wars. I mean, she was older than me. She was like about, she was 2 years older than me, but due to our birth dates, like, she was like literally, we spent like most of the year like being 3 years apart. Because I had my birth date later in the year and hers is early. Can I get to that gold? No, I'm being denied. Yeah, so one of the kind of cool things about it, though, what's going on now, like I said, George Lucas has pretty much, it's been rumored he's destroyed the original negatives for the original trilogy movie, because he's embarrassed by them for whatever reason, which is why he keeps screwing with it, which is why we now have Ewoks that blink, and R2-D2 suddenly hiding behind a whole bunch of boulders, which is impossible. So what a group of people have done is they've actually banded together to take multiple sources of the original trilogy, and they basically called what's the despecialized edition. They're basically trying to make it like the original version that I saw growing up as a kid, and that originally released in the theater, without all these different changes. So they've actually made like high definition versions of it, using like just all sorts of crazy stuff. Let's see. Yeah, so this guy named Harmy was known as kind of kicking it off, and they've done the entire trilogy now, the original trilogy, as despecialized. Basically, like at one point, they actually somebody found original 35mm print, and they went through and like took pictures of every single frame. They're digitally cleaning them up. This is like a 20-minute video I posted in the chat, but they show like all the different ways that they're going through and cleaning up to like basically get rid of all the crazy stuff that George Lucas has put into the films. See if I can find a quick one. Like there was a Blu-ray that came out a couple of years ago. I think it was 2004. Yeah, they talk about that, and all the colors are wrong. And they're like, well, let's color correct this back to what it's supposed to be. Because, I mean, like, everything was, like, bright pink for skin tones. It was really weird looking. Do I have any races in Europe? Yeah, blacks were all screwed up, so they went through and actually just, like, color corrected it and all sorts of fun stuff. Yeah, so definitely give that watch that and give that a go sometime. Or now, I mean, I'm not your dad. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to watch my stream, but if you want to, that's cool. Okay, let's do another race. Trying to remember what gives me other races. I think I have to do that really long one. Then that will open up Europe for more races. Yeah, Star Trek and Star Wars were kind of blurred together for me as a kid. Actually, I didn't like Star Trek as a kid. Like, I had seen... It was kind of weird for how I grew up with Star Trek. Because I had seen, like, as a kid, I'm talking like 4 years old, the original Wrath of Khan, Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan, which is a freaking great movie. That holds up today. It is the best. And then, like, Star Trek IV, we had that on VHS. So I was familiar with, like, the original series that way. And then we watched a little bit of The Next Generation here and there when we weren't moving all over the place due to being in the military. So it wasn't like until actually probably about 7 or 8 years ago I actually sat down and watched like all the Star Treks, like the original series, which I don't think is that great. It's really kind of overblown. It's really hammy. And then Next Generation, which I love, and then Deep Space Nine, which is really kind of weird take, but I liked it because it was dark. You know, the Next Generation was all like, oh, we're going to have happy endings constantly. Like, you're going to have something terrible happen, then everything works out in the end. And Deep Space Nine is like, no, this guy lost his foot in an accident. Sucks to be him. It's like, whoa, okay, this is different. And then, of course, I had the original trilogy growing up Star Wars, and I remember thinking, I saw the special edition Star Wars in '97, when they had put them out in the theaters again. They made this big hoopla, like, oh my gosh, like, here's these new improved video, and we've changed how things look. And I was thinking, okay, that's kind of neat, though I still like the original trilogy better. But it was kind of cool to see, like, the cut scenes that were put back into it, because they did have deleted scenes for some of it in there. And then George Lucas kind of went crazy. So for me, Star Wars had like a bigger thing when I was growing up, but also Ghostbusters. That was also the huge franchise when I was a kid. Because there's the original Ghostbusters, which is gigantic. I actually have the, I didn't have the Proton Pack. I always wanted that, but I actually have the trap for it. That they roll out and like trap the ghosts in. I actually have that toy still. So Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, those were like the big franchises, along with Star Wars. Because growing up in the military, you'd have people all over the place, and my neighbors, when I was like 4 years old or so, had come from England. Like, they had just been stationed over at the airbase over there. And they had, like, full collection of Star Wars toys. I mean, we're talking... Like, this is after, like, Jedi had wrapped up, so there was, like, all the action figures, all the TIE fighters, the X-Wings. They had an AT-AT, the big giant one that actually would walk. It was like... Oh my gosh, they had like replica lightsabers, things they didn't have here in the States at the time. They had it over in Europe, and they just brought all the stuff back with them. I'm like, oh my god. So it was like, I want to go over to his place and play. It's like they have all the fun Star Wars stuff. Did you have people like that come in and yell at you again, T. Wallace, for driving like a maniac? You're driving like it's Burnout 3 in Euro Truck Simulator. Yeah, the latest Ghostbusters movie was just, it was a travesty. They're doing another one, so it's supposed to be like the official Ghostbusters 3. So we'll see how that turns out. Star Trek Wrath of Khan. Oh my god, that is a kick-ass movie. If you have not seen that, Jay, you really need to. Is it on Netflix? I don't know if it's on Netflix where you are, though. That's the thing. Star Trek 2 Wrath of Khan. Streaming. Deutschland. Amazon Prime might have it. Or Hulu. I don't know if it's on Netflix and where you are, so let's see. Streaming. YouTube has it, Amazon Prime, Google Play, iTunes, Vudu, Tubi. I haven't heard of Tubi. But it's free, you just have to register. Actually, no, crap, it's auto-playing. Try this and see if this works. I'm not sure of the whole quality of that, but it just started auto-playing, and it's like, it's an hour and 53 minutes. Picard. They're doing this whole thing where they're bringing back Picard from the Next Generation. And I saw the trailer, and it just looks like, kind of be like, hey, look at these things we're doing. Remember 7 of 9 from that terrible Voyager show? She's on here. She's acting like a human again. Remember Data? Well, he's back and old and fat, so yeah. So it's like, okay. So yeah, I really don't know about it, and supposedly people had a lot of hope for it because it was supposed to be this kind of psychological thing about Picard retiring and not wanting to come back to Starfleet and everything, and then they brought in the person who's kind of screwing up Discovery. They brought him on, so now who knows what it's going to be. It's not really held in high hopes. I'll probably watch an episode of that, but we'll see. Oh, great. Well, that's perfect. In effect, on May 18th. Plan to relaunch in European countries soon. Well, let me tell you about a thing here called VPN, Virtual Private Network. If you're not using one already, there are some free ones you can use. Yeah, VPN, you can do it that way, or you can VPN and torrent it. I use NordVPN. I'm not sure if it's available in Europe. Probably is. I'm not sure, though. Yeah, anyway. But basically, you can torrent out that, and I haven't got busted for anything, so it's like pirate it, I would say. The movie's from like 1982, so it's been seen by just about everybody. So I would say pirate it if you want to, but it's a great movie if you have not seen it. It's based off the classic Star Trek though, so even if you haven't seen the episode where they first introduced Khan in the original series, you'll still understand what's going on. They explain it like, you're Khan, like you're this crazy person who tried to kill Kirk like 20 years ago. And it's Ricardo Montalban, the coolest sounding man alive. You know, I just wish he was still alive because he had the smoothest voice ever. No problem. Don't stop my momentum. I need that 2 times. Oh, that truck's gonna beat me to it. Yeah, I got it. The wheels on the bus go over the cliff. Everyone screams. Children die. Because we know that these buses are full of people. Excellent. So there you go, Jay. So when it's not ridiculously early in the morning and you have time to watch a movie, bookmark that bad boy. Yeah, the reason why I like NordVPN is they do not keep records on anything. They'll just say that, yes, you signed in at this time to our server, and that's it. So they don't keep track of if you're torrenting anything, if you're going to certain websites or anything. You know, it's like they don't keep a record of that at all, which is why I went with them. And it's like dirt cheap. It's like $3 a month for me. And of course, VPNs, if you're not familiar with that, it encrypts all your data. So even if they were to look at something, like if they were to report back and say, hey, this person's torrenting something, and they just get a bunch of garbage that's going to take them like years to decode. Yes, well, you're playing the wrong game here. That's the whole thing. You got to play Burnout 3. I mean, apparently ghosts drive everything, but yeah, this is the game you got to get. PlayStation 2, original Xbox. It is backwards compatible on the 360. I don't know if it is on the Xbox One, but we know it works there and it's cheap. Unfortunately, this game does not emulate well, so that's a downer. So, Burnout 4 Revenge. I actually do have that, and I don't like it, unfortunately. It's just too weird of a game. I mean, they took everything that was in this game, which I love. This is my favorite of the Burnout series, and just went backwards. I mean, you have to start your car with a revolving meter just right, which doesn't tell you how to do it exactly. If you screw it up, your car explodes, literally. You explode right there, and then you have to come back and you have to try to start your car again, and everyone's already half a mile away, speeding away. It's like, okay. So, and then they had the weird boosting mechanics. Yeah, that's the problem with Burnout Revenge, is like you have to start your car just right. It like has think like a golf game where you have like you press the button to start your swing and you have to press the button again to get how much power you want. And then the next button to like this actually confirm the swing. It's kind of like that. And then, yeah, and then like you have to crash into oncoming traffic. Last I remember, there was like you had to hit oncoming traffic in order to get boosts. But if you hit traffic, like if you hit cars going your direction, you would crash. It was like just like everything was backwards. I'm like, what is this game? Then Burnout Paradise made it so you had to go through and drive to everything. Like, hey, you want to do, like, if I wanted to do Silver Lake at this event, I'd be, like, way over here. I had to drive all the way over across town to get to this one event. It's like, instead of just picking it from a menu like this and just going and racing. It's like they made it needlessly complicated for Burnout Paradise, and it was all open world, so you could go and crash, like, anytime, just basically just, like, clicking the double thumbsticks, and then you'll just be instantly in crash mode and crash into anything you see. It's like, well, what about setting up cool things like this game does, what the other ones do? You know, it was just so weird to me. It's like, it just seemed like such a backward step. Alright, we'll do the Compact DX for this. I think I picked a long race. Beat your rival to win their car. Slash their tires so you can go faster. Get slammed by the other car. So this game rubber bands like crazy, and also the opponent's car is faster than mine. Take that. Give me more boost power. You've got boost power. F-Zero X, by the way, on Nintendo 64. Very awesome. Hi there. He was trying to wipe me out. Oh man, going so slow. Okay, good, finally. And that was dumb, so now I've lost my lead. And these, like, head-to-heads, if you crash a lot of times, the other, like, your opponent's just gonna be way ahead of you. It's like, oh, you crashed. Your opponent's now 7 seconds ahead of you. Yeah, this is gonna be over with. Three seconds behind. Odds are I will not make it. Nope, definitely not now. And that's the problem with these long races, is that you'll get close to the end, and then, like, the game will, like, literally try to murder you. Like, they're like, oh, these, like, you'll see cars swerve to try to smash into you. Not like that, but I mean just, like, civilian cars. What's up, Nimix? Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's not driving Miss Daisy Simulator. That's Gran Turismo. That's right, I said it. Ooh, new windows, fun. You're like, new computer? No, actual physical windows. Oh, I shoot fires at Gran Turismo all the time because I have friends who play that game. They love them. And for me, I'm like, that's neat. If I wanted to, you know, have real-world physics, I'll go drive a real car. It's like, I want to be driving 152 miles in the wrong, you know, miles per hour in the wrong direction, flipping cars out of the way, and not getting arrested for it, so... Oh, crap. You know, the first test for Gran Turismo is like, stop within this time frame. You know, like, you don't know how fast your car is going, you don't have a realistic sense of speed. And it's like, and you just fail that test, like, repeatedly. And then you have to do it again with a different car. It's like, oh, come on. Hey, how are you doing? Eat that. Yeah, so, like, I have, like, original Need for Speed, like, 3DO. Okay. There we go. Let's get on this side of the road. Decided to throw rush hour traffic at me. Alright. Yeah, what was it? The original, was it Need for Speed 3? Hot Pursuit? Which is... Here's my beef with for the Need for Speed series. They keep recycling their names for their games. We're talking, like, not the latest one they did, Hot Pursuit, like a couple years ago. We're talking, like, 1997, 1998. That one was a lot of fun. We actually had that on my computer, and my brother and I just played that one to death. That was a lot of fun. Tried playing Kerbal Space Program. We have killed all my pilots and blew up my rocket. Yeah, I'm not surprised. There is a game on Steam called, was it Universe Simulator or something like that? I'm trying to think of it. Let's actually pull up Steam and take a look, see what it is. Okay, Theater Brook. No. Didn't tell you to play. Said launch Steam. Find out what my game library is. Not play music from Japan. Universe Sandbox. I have Universe Sandbox Legacy. That's kind of cool. You can like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like you can just like, oh, let's take the Milky Way galaxy and let's crash into Andromeda and see what happens. It's like, and you can do it in real time. It's like, well, that's good. This will be fun to see in another 4 billion years when the sun's exploded and this happens. Or let's just go through and start it up. Oh, you knew that song. Good for you, Jay. I have no idea how to translate it in English or if it even works in anything else. Like, how do you spell that? Durarararara. And just keep that up until you feel like tired and don't want to type anymore. Yeah, those PC games are really hard to find. Yeah, it's just like I said, it's just RA over and over after DU. Like DURARARARA. But yeah, so the old PC games like that are pretty hard to find, and then if you can get them working, it's even harder to get them to work on computers. GOG, G-O-G, goodoldgames.com usually has, they might have some of those old ones here, and they work on like Windows 7, Windows 10 computers, so that's the cool part. I don't know if any of that's ever made to Steam, though. Ooh, sounds like fun. Yeah, that's exactly what it means. People are like, what? It's like, yeah, seriously. Stands for Good Old Games, GOG. Alright, Jay, I will catch you next time. Thanks for dropping in, and definitely, like I said, watch Wrath of Khan. It's a great movie. It's a classic. It still holds up today. I think after this, we're going to do some more crashing. Get some more high-speed action. I think this is the last race I have for USA for now, so I just kind of want to knock it out. Okay, whoa, that was close. Drifting is one of those things that, like, I don't know why it took America so long to, like, figure out, like, yes, you can do things like this with your car. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never known about this. I'm like, jump in the car with me, I'll show you how to do it. So yeah, drifting is not hard to do, and like I said, America kind of figured out a couple of years ago when the Fast and Furious movies started doing it, but it just, what they don't tell you is that it destroys your tires like nobody's business. Like, you can do it, but it's like, your tires are not designed to be rubbed that way sideways, and they will blow pretty quickly. And tires are expensive. So unless you have like a professional, like, you know, like some kind of like company backing you up and sponsoring you to actually drift your car, you probably shouldn't do it yourself unless you're like being shot at or in a Hollywood chase scene. Oh, come on. Well, at least we both crashed. A little too soon. Yeah. 6 seconds ahead. Yeah, I'm good. I can even do that. Alright, next race. Yeah, I gotta love these GPs. I think this one's like 3 races. I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention. After this, we're gonna start doing some crashing and smashing. Again. So speaking of anime earlier, I was watching Fire Force last night. New episode came out. Oh, this game rubber band's like nobody's business. It is worse than Mario Kart. I was watching Fire Force and I accidentally jumped to the end of it because I have Japanese television and DVR. And I noticed that they censored the ending. I was like, okay, why? It's like, well, out of respect of Koto Animation Studio that was burned down in an arson attack and like 30 people died, we decided it'd be best to censor our episode. And so what they did is like they dimmed some fire scenes and then blacked out half like the faces of people who are like transformed into monsters. Yeah, that's dumb. I'm gonna lose this race. What's your current event? No, we'll just keep going. I guess I got a lot of time. It's like, it wasn't even the animation studio that got, like, burned down. It wasn't even the ones who made the episode. And it has nothing to do with arson. It's actually having to do with, like, people spontaneously combusting, like human combustion. And there's, like, a sci-fi element to it. It's like, okay, why are you getting upset? It's like they're just going, like, full censor mode. So they said, well, we'll have to make a decision whether or not we're going to continue to censor our content moving forward. It's like, please don't censor your stuff. Yes, cars do fly. Physics are not really much of a thing in this game. Yeah, physics is kind of a suggestion, really. Oh, come on. That was lame. So this game rubber bands like nobody's business. Hey, Med Event AJ is hosting. Awesome. Alright, it's tied for first. Yeah, 2 of 3, so I really have to come in first. This game will do that to you sometimes. I mean, like, you'll literally be... You will see the finish, and then all of a sudden, like, either it'll spawn suicidal traffic patterns, or a car in front of you, or, like, they'll just take you out. Like another racer, just like out of nowhere. And they'll be going way faster than you ever could. Full boost. Gran Turismo. Yeah, no. I have 3. I can pop that in, play it on the PlayStation 2 emulator. Since Elgato does not like streaming an actual PS3. Hoping to cut that a little close. Okay, so there's another car right there. He's gonna, like, basically... It's gonna move out of the way. I'm gonna try to see if I can hit him. Yeah, the computer's like, nope, nope, nope. Ah! Barely touched him, that counts. Yeah, F-Zero rubber bands. Mario Kart's known for it, but... Yeah, there's no way I was getting through that alive. That's when the games are like, ha, you're gonna crash. It doesn't matter, like, how fast you're going. This game will always have somebody on your butt. It's like you'll have a notification like you're 6 seconds ahead, and then you'll hear a car right behind you. So that's what made the online version of this so much more fun, because there was no rubber banding. Yes, this and okay, whoa, didn't crash on that. I got lucky. But yeah, it's like you need to have like a splitter for the HDMI signal, which strips out HDCP signals because they block it. And then, like, there's, like, PlayStation will also do other measures to try to stop people from, I guess, pirating is what they were trying to do. So it'll do, like, rapid-fire resolution changes, which also screw up the Elgato, too. So, like, it would, like, literally, like, crash my stream just about. So, like, I'd switch games, and it's just like, okay, well, I gotta drop the stream and bring it back up so you can see what's going on. Yeah, so I try not to stream for my PlayStation 3 unless I really need to, like if I'm playing a game like Ninja Gaiden Sigma or Sigma 2. And even then, like now, I'll just actually use emulators a lot of the time now, because PlayStation 3 emulators are not too bad for certain things. Like a while ago, I did Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. And actually used the PlayStation 3 emulator, and it was like perfect. You could not tell it was emulation at all. So, like, for certain games, the emulator, like PlayStation 3 emulator, will handle things brilliantly, and then start getting to, like, 3D games. Like, 2D games it can do no problem, but 3D games is where it starts to chug. Like, you need to have a decent computer. And even then, you're not going to be running things perfectly well a lot of times. Yay! Oh. Alright, now I get to see what cars I've unlocked, and then we can do some smashing and crashing again. Crash mode. Muscle series unlocked. Yeah, that's the thing that, like, you know, looking back and now I can read, like, actually read the comments now, because I'm, like, I can blink my eyes and I can look away from the screen. Pardon me. That was always the thing that bugged me about Gran Turismo license. It's like, sure, we'll license the cars for your game, but we don't want to see our cars damaged, you know, because that's going to ruin our brand. So that's how you can have, like, 100-mile-per-hour crashes in the walls, nothing gets scuffed, nothing gets, like, dinged up, no damages are done to these cars. It's like, well, that's no fun. So I'd rather not have, like, official license if it means that, like, your cars can get screwed up. If you can tow them and smash them up, like in this game, you know, that's even better. Even, like, minor damage is, like, a rare thing for a licensed car game to actually have. Alright, let's head over to Europe. Grapes of Wrath. No longer confined to a boring book about Depression-era United States and people trying to find work in California. Yeah, some of the older ones did, but then, like, later on when it became like more like visible. They're like, oh, we don't really want to see our cars smashed up though. Which is kind of funny, like if you watch an action movie, you can see what cars have been sponsored because you'll see other cars get flipped and crashed and things like that, except for like the ones where they sponsored. It's like, oh, okay, so Audi is sponsoring our movie with some cars. They give us some cars to use, so those cars will never get damaged. They might get a scratch in the paint. You'll see like Fords and Toyotas just getting wrecked and flipped. It's like, whatever. They didn't pay up the money. We'll end up in the field. Yeah, I haven't played like a Need for Speed game in a long time. So I started focusing on story modes to just like, hey, race. You know, it's like, that's when I kind of lost interest in it. So for like 20 years. It's like, yeah. I think like the last one I seriously played for a long time was Need for Speed Wanted Pursuit on the PC, like the 1998 version. Hot Pursuit, that's what it was. Hot Pursuit. Let me see if I can crash and hit that, like hit the 2 times bonus first. Okay, got it. Perfect. There we go. Corner Chaos. Oh, this is when you have like 2 90-degree angle turns to the left. And you can fail crash mode. Like, you can actually like go beyond the boundary without hitting your car and it just ends. It's like, sorry, you didn't hit anything. Retry again. It's like, oh, this is when you can easily do that. If this is the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, this is the double 90. Well, as long as it's unskippable, that's fine. Because the age of unskippable cutscenes is really kind of annoying. Which is what this game does. But fortunately, it's only in the very beginning, so it's not too much of a hassle. It's like, let's just face it, like, any game that comes out is not that important that you have to sit and watch every single cutscene. Like, only, like, pretentious game designers would really think, like, well, I don't want anybody to skip this because I've put so much time and my story's so amazing. It's like, it's a game about curling. Nobody cares. Well, T-Walls, did you see when I beat Metal Gear Solid 4? That ending, I timed it. I actually brought up Live Split and timed it. Was 1 hour and, I think, 1 hour and 22 minutes? It's like, if you go through, because I was doing, like, full lore, like, playthroughs. I did, like, last year I did Metal Gear Solid 1 through 5. And I played the entire game, and I did, like, what's called, like, the lore run, which is basically watch all the cutscenes and stuff. So It's like the first mission or chapter or whatever they want to call it there, the opening part of the game is like walk 10 feet, trigger another 5-minute cutscene where you get dumped on with story and ridiculous pretentiousness, and just keeps going. So I remember like the first time I played through it, I thought, oh, this is kind of neat, kind of weird. Then I played through again, like kind of New Game Plus, and just started skipping the cutscenes. I got through like the first level in 20 minutes. Because it's like when you skip all those things, it's like, wow, this is easy. Yeah, it's the best movie you've ever played. Just like you go, you put down the controller, you go outside for a walk, fix yourself something to eat, go see a movie, come back, and you're still probably in a cutscene for Metal Gear Solid 4. And I totally don't use hyperbole or exaggeration. Never. Oh yeah, so I'm waiting to see how long the cutscenes are for Death Stranding. Is it an actual game or is it a movie? Because you can tell Kojima wants to make movies, but he does video games instead. It's like, I want to be a movie director, and so how he ended up making video games. Pardon me. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think all the Priuses can get going that fast. Well, Suda 51 is like mostly just weird to be weird, pretty much. And people are like, oh, his games are art. I'm like, he's just, I don't know what he's on, but he's got to be dropping acid or something and just making games. Yeah, the thing is, like, Kojima is not really that great of a game maker. Yeah, and I will back you on that. But he makes games that nobody has seen, though. I mean, that's the whole thing. So, I mean, that's the whole point. Is like Metal Gear Solid had really been done like that at that point. And then that even spawned like a competitor, which like Splinter Cell, which they said, yes, we are inspired by Metal Gear Solid, taking that to the next level. So that's what he's really good for, is kind of like genre defining and making new things without going too crazy like Suda 51. We just lose people. Like, I bought Killer 7 when it came out. I'm like, what am I looking at? It's like none of it made sense. We were like, oh, this is great. I'm like, can you tell me what it's about? Nope. Speaking of Quentin Tarantino, have fun with this little fact. You'll never watch his movies the same way. He's got a severe foot fetish. Just take note of how many times he shows people's feet in the movies. Like shots of shoes, foot cams, all that stuff. You're never going to be able to like watch a movie the same way now. Now you have that information. He's got a severe foot fetish. Everyone's got their kinks, but I mean, you probably shouldn't let mess with your creative vision, so to speak. Yeah, where does Metal Gear Rising fall in that argument? Basically it was a weird thing. I mean, they handed it off to Platinum, because they said, yeah, we can make a game out of this. Because originally Kojima tried to make Metal Gear Rising himself, and just basically it was going to be a dead end. Because he didn't know how to work those mechanics that he promised into the serious Metal Gear Solid worlds, and then Platinum came along and said, well, we're trying to do our thing with it. And for me, like I said, I know I'm in the minority. I do not like Metal Gear Rising. I don't think it's a great game at all. It was broken on launch, then they fixed it, and then they kind of busted it again. So where's all my traffic at? Oh yeah, I'm known for that. It's like, I don't like things that other people like. It's weird. It's like I have my own opinion of things on the internet. Something you're not supposed to do. Okay, so there... Oh, there it is. It's way down there. I was like, wait a minute. Where's everyone at? Didn't go too far. Didn't pay attention. Why is that triggering my crash when I didn't hit anything? That's lame. So hitting the ramp in this one is a no-no. Do not hit the ramp. Yeah, exactly. Bayonetta has its faults and its pluses. And that's like the big debate. Pardon me. The people even say now, it's like, well, I like Bayonetta 1 better than 2. I'm like, that's fine. I like 2 better than 1. It's like, they're both great games. They both have their, their great things and their things that should change, but it's like, you can't really go wrong with either one of those games, to be honest. Yeah, Bayonetta kind of set the action mold. Okay, so I need to remember, do not go for the turbo. Okay. Get the gold. Turbo, no. Okay. Now we'll do it. See, there is some strategery to this. Alright. So I make sure I did not get that heartbreaker. Yeah! I'm getting dragged along with the buses. Oh, it changed the camera angle on me. Boo! I'm getting nowhere near that 4 times. Yes. It's a shame that all these cars are empty. Silver. We'll take that for now. We'll continue, so that way it saves it, opens up more events, and then do it again. Yeah. See, that'd be the ultimate crossover. Like, they envisioned someday that someone's going to make a Euro Truck Simulator and another one, Part 2, and then link them up together. That would be a great crossover. People just going like, oh, I gotta get that gypsum over, gotta get that to... so kids can write on their chalkboards. Kids gotta have that chalk. And then I just come out of nowhere and just, like, totally just smash everything up. Ah, it's still pushing me far away. Yeah, that's the thing I like about Bayonetta, the series for that. It's like, you can go difficult. Like, Bayonetta 1 is actually harder than number 2. And I, like, fully meant that. People are like, no, it's not. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's like, it's legitimately harder. The first game is harder than the sequel. But it's like, you have the opportunity, though, to get better by far. It's like, you can start off on lower difficulties, or you can go higher up. You decide, like, your level of challenge. And then speedrunning the game has really taught me that you can go and... Oh, crap, just missed the 4 times again. Like, you can know how a game works like that, but then you can, like, start probing it even deeper and start unlocking things again, like, even higher level gameplay. Like, we're still finding things, like, in Bayonetta 2, especially for speedrunning, that, like, I've been playing the game for, like, 5 years, and now it's, like, and we're discovering new ways to, like, generate money. It's like, holy crap, yeah, I speedrun it. I actually have a couple of world records in it. Not to brag or anything, but yeah, I'd speedrun Bayonetta 2. It's normally what I do on my channels. Like, I do, like, one game, like I'll play a game like this, or a fighting game, or retro games, or whatever, for a stream, and then I'll go and like the next stream I'll be doing like a Bayonetta 2 speedrun. So I kind of alternate back and forth so I don't get burned out just doing Bayonetta 2 speedruns all the time. So what's the new one? Neon Nightmare. Let's do that. Yeah, I learned how to speedrun Ninja Gaiden, but it's just like the RNG on that is just so frustrating because that game, I mean, Bayonetta 2 can troll you, but Ninja Gaiden is just, it's nothing but designed to troll you. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. And we're not talking like Ninja Gaiden like Nintendo, we're talking the Xbox version. Oh, let's see where this goes. Whee! No, don't hit the Heartbreaker. Okay, I'm not going to make it over there, so let's try that again. If you hit the Heartbreaker, that actually cuts your score in half. You do not want to get that. Oh yeah, you'll see Tiger Woods, I think it's 04? Either 04 or 05. Oh, come on. Cross traffic. So you'll see that ad, Tiger Woods, and something else as well gets advertised in here too, because it's the same company, EA. Here we go. Oh no! Not gonna over that 4 times. It missed most of the cross trap. Bummer, all those cars got away. This is probably gonna be low scoring. Pretty much. EA, which is kind of weird because EA started off as like this really good company. And then they just kind of lost their way. Because, like, you gotta think about, like, back in the day, like, the Madden games were actually fun. NHL, like, NHL 93 I loved, and I don't like hockey games. It's like, and I played the hell out of that one. Road Rash series. I mean, EA had a lot of good hits, and then it just kind of went downhill. It wasn't until, like, around the I'd say probably around, actually, the last 10 years or so, with the changes in management and practices and everything else what they've decided to do, it's kind of just changed things around a lot. Okay, so I got 2 there. Yes. Yeah, I actually found out about this game. I was working at AOL. For those who don't know what that is, that's America Online, early internet provider. And, I mean, this was back, like, in the dial-up days, so they were making money hand over fist. I mean, it was like, when you worked for AOL, you got paid ridiculously well. They had catered food every 2 weeks. Like, it was every week, actually. And then we'd have Pizza Hut delivered every 2 weeks. So I got really tired of Pizza Hut real quick. But in the break room, we had arcade machines. They got rid of the pinball because that's just too noisy because you could hear that on the phones. And we had a PlayStation 2 and an Xbox. And on the PlayStation 2, they had Burnout 3 in there. So I was like, so I'd spend like all my breaks and lunches playing this game. I was like, man, I'm just having so much fun. And I'm like, I'm making a crap ton of money. I have like thousands of dollars saved up in my bank account just from working here for a couple months. I'm just gonna go buy it. So that's what I did. I went out and bought myself a copy of the game for the Xbox and just sat at home and played it nonstop. Pardon me. So that's how I got exposed to this game, because they had it at work. Alright, so let's do a race now. We've done some smashing. Yeah, it was kind of like Google, but not completely as corrupt. But it was a lot of fun when we got bought out by, the whole Time Warner merger, like the AOL Time Warner. You may remember from, like, if you're old enough to remember things like that, like 20 years ago. Because that's what gave us access to a lot of Warner Brothers archives, which is how I got that connection to see the rare uncut version of The Matrix. We also got to see like movies like weeks before they came out. Like I got to see, I think it was the fourth Harry Potter movie. I'm not a Harry Potter fan at all, but I was like, hey, I got free tickets for it. So they rented out the entire movie theater, and we got to see it about a month to 3 weeks before it came out for everybody else. Because we were AOL Time Warner employees, so we got to do stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. Ooh, Dragon Age Origins. Yeah, the download Origin. Yeah, it makes you feel dirty. What did I do at AOL? I started off on the phones doing tech support. And then, like, I got really good at that. And also crashing. But, got really good at it. Moved my way up there. And then they had an opening for what they called features and premium services. Which is, like, higher tier. So, and you do, like, lots of different things. Like, I do chat support. So a person, like, would have a problem with the internet or just general questions. They go into a chat room. They can answer it that way. But before that, the most fun I had, I know I'm going to crash here. The first one, like, they put me on was called Cat Community Action Team. That was awesome. That was basically, like, dealing with people who got banned. So let's say little Johnny went into a chat room and started typing inappropriate things and got their account banned. And the next time you try to go and sign on to AOL, say, we're sorry, there's something wrong with your account, you need to talk to our community action team, please call this number. And then they'd call and they'd talk to me, and I would tell them exactly what their account was banned for. And we were told to not censor anything. So I got to read off, like, some of the craziest things that would get you fired in other companies. It's like, well, do you have this username? Like, yeah, that's my son. He's like, how old is he? He's 12. Okay, well, he went to the chat room and started talking about this and, like, X-rated content. It was like, and you would read everything they typed in there. So I'm pretty sure I got some kids murdered, but that was just so much fun. It's like, let's see, he went into this, like, LGBT back before that was an acronym. Like, and started spouting off, like, anti-gay propaganda, and here's what he said, and it's like, you got to read that all, and you're like, I'm sorry, he'll never do that again. And, like, you could tell, like the parent's voice is like, I'm gonna murder my kid, they're dead. And, unfortunately, that only lasted for about 2 weeks. They shut that down and moved it to Guadalajara, Mexico, which is a shame. And then I got moved into features and premium services, which was like a lot of things. We were like a jack of all trades. So we do chat support. Then we do like, we had developers who were not too far from us, about a mile away in a different building. So they're like, hey, you have experience with cell phones and pagers, Palms, Blackberries, things like that. I'm like, yeah, so like, cool. So like, we need you to test our latest version of AIM, like the AOL Instant Messenger, on Palm, and we want you to break it and tell us what you did, and then go over and tell the developers. So I'd sit there and just try to think of ways to, like, to screw with the program to break it, and then go and talk with the developers and say, hey, I did this, and this is what happened. Stuff like that. Then we also had celebrity accounts, like high profiles, what they call them. So I actually talked to Burt Reynolds once. The singer Brandy, she had an AOL account. She was really nice. So was Burt Reynolds. And Mike Nelson he was from Mystery Science Theater 3000, but now Rift Tracks, you may know. I'm just gonna smash up left and right. Can I get the car? Yeah! So you'd handle high-profile accounts like that. It was just, like, all sorts of things. Like, and because of the AOL Time Warner merger, we also had some video game division stuff, so if you wanted to go online with your PlayStation 2, you had to have an AOL account, and you had to pay extra money for the online service for PlayStation 2, which is what we handled. So I'd have to walk people through setting that up on their PlayStation 2s. We did support for the Matrix Online, which was the Matrix MMORPG. I mean, we did, like, literally, like, one of, like, 60 things. And then eventually I started working my way up into, because of the previous managerial experience. Jeez, I'm just doing terrible trying to talk and drive at the same time. And it was like, hey, like, do you have your passport? Like, yeah, we want to send you overseas for a week. Okay. It was like, no problem. So started teaching other places, and then eventually like, congratulations, you're out of a job. We're closing down all our North American sites. Because we're just losing too much money for unknown reasons. Unknown reasons meaning broadband becoming more widespread in the country. And they finally realized that spending all that crazy amount of money on us was not making them like any big returns anymore. Because it was like 2005. Yeah, this is going to be a restart. Yeah, pretty much got outsourced. Because AOL closed down all of their North American offices, and there was like about 15, 20 branches in the United States at the time. When I was in Arizona, we had two of them there. We had the developers, and then we had tech support and premium services, which is what I did. You know, our separate building. So we got outsourced to India and Mexico and Canada, I think it was. They had like actually had a place up in, I think it was Toronto, where they had it. Just one division. But they handled different things. It wasn't all like tech support. It'd be like you call one place, one place would do billing, and then another would do like business support or whatever. But they didn't change with the times. They didn't understand how to make that leap over to broadband. So, I mean, I knew about broadband because of the Time Warner part there. So, you know, the cable and so forth. But they didn't know how to transition that business model that they had, like where everyone had to use dial-up just about to using broadband, because like, well, if you have broadband through your provider, why would you spend another $20, $30 a month for AOL when you're already connected to the internet? It's like you don't need it anymore. And they never figured out how to change that. So then they tried to rebrand themselves as like a media thing, like, hey, we're AOL Media, and you can see like band performances and stuff like that, and streaming content. And it was still like, why should we pay you like $10 a month for this when I have it through my broadband provider? This makes no sense. So eventually they rebranded themselves again with a different name, just kind of faded into obscurity, really. They eventually got dropped from the whole Time Warner part. That got kind of broken up and fell apart, got sold out. But I mean, it was fun for a while, but it's just like when broadband kicked in full gear, they just didn't know what to do. So I left the company like really early, like when we got the notification like, hey, features and premium services are going away. You have to go back and do tech support. I was like, nope, I'm not doing that. I'm going to put a shotgun in my mouth before I talk to another idiot again. So I left the company. I got a buyout, like, what is it? I'm trying to think of the official term. Severance pay. Got like a 3-month severance package out of that. And then my friends were like, who stayed behind, they're like, oh, it's dumb, you're going to be quitting. I'm like, you're going to be out of a job in 3 months. I was like, no, we're fine. They were still buying the AOL Kool-Aid, you know, and then 3 months later, like, ah, you were right, we should have taken that. So they only got like a 1-month severance package when I got 3 for quitting early. When I saw the writing on the wall, I'm like, nope. It's like, they're going to be closing down all the centers, it's just like, this is going to be bad. Then I went into retail for a while, you know, Walmart did that for years, and then call centers again, and then just like, okay, this is not working out for me. Then I finally went into IT, went to school for that, and then that's when my back blew out. So I was like, I'm all ready to go with my new job and can't do it. I basically, like, you know, at my other jobs, I worked my way up to supervisor, and I'd still get laid off with everybody else. Like, you were higher up, you had more responsibility, but you were just as expendable as everybody else. And I really hated that. So that's why I was like, okay, it's time for me to go, you know, to change careers. And I was like, well, let's finally go back to college. Let's get into computers. I've always had interest in computers. I liked them. Obviously, I'm playing video games and stuff like that and streaming, so... And they had a school nearby, you know, that actually teaches that stuff. So I'm like, yeah. So I learned how to do database and SQL and all that other fun jazz and basic IT stuff. Ah, crap. No, it's like, I'm not going to make that turn. Yeah, exactly. And that's actually funny. I've actually been blacklisted from Walmart. That's another story and a half. 16 seconds ahead. Okay, well, I'm fine. I was thinking, like, man, I'm gonna hear a car creeping up on me any second. Nope. Hey. Yeah, it turns out at Walmart, like, there was a supervisor I was at in Michigan. Caused some problems. Basically, she was, like, refusing to pay overtime and kept jerking things around, doing stuff that was illegal. So I'm like, so I kept reporting her to our higher-ups about it, and she kept getting in trouble for it. So then she arranged to have me fired. She's like, well, we had a complaint from someone at some point in time that said something, but we don't know who it was, we don't know where it was, or what was said. And I was like, okay, really? So they're like, we're firing you for that. I'm like, you're firing me for no evidence or anything else there. Well, they're like, oh, and also at the same time, too, because you also want to come in and work in a wheelchair, and we don't have that as well. We don't want to have that happen. So I'm just sitting there like, ka-ching, 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 dollar signs. I'm going to sue the shit out of them. Because at the time, like, I was having super bad fibromyalgia. I didn't know it at the time. But, like, I could barely walk anymore. So I told them, like, hey, I need to come in a wheelchair. Oh, they also sent me home one time because they told me I was a tripping hazard because I was using a cane to walk, which I had been doing for about 2 years at that point anyway. But one of the supervisors said, you're a tripping hazard. You could potentially trip a person with the cane. You have to go home. You can't work. So... yeah, so when I had my lawyer call them, next thing they're like, hey, come back to work tomorrow. We're giving you a pay raise. I'm like, okay. We'll do that. Ugh. But yeah, so they fired me that day, you know, for like trumped up charges, like supposed complaint and also needing a wheelchair at the time. So I'm like, okay, cool. And then they also fired everybody else who was full time because they wanted to go pure, you know, part time only. Save on their bonuses and so forth. Is this car faster? 3. No, it's got heavier weight. 4. 3. So I could be using a faster car, and I'm not. So yeah, so that kept going through for like fun, and then that supervisor finally got nailed again after I had been fired wrongly. So they transferred her to a new store. And then she caused a really big problem, one that actually made national headlines here in the States, because there was a guy who was working at the store she got transferred to who has stage 4 terminal cancer, like sinus cancer and I think some other type of bone cancer. I mean, he was going to die. He was on medical marijuana, which is legal in Michigan. And he got hurt. And they said, well, you have marijuana in your system, you're fired. So he sued and dragged it out and made this huge national thing. I mean, it became this huge thing. And she was the one who fired him for it. Like, nope, you're smoking dope, we can't have you on the job here, you're fired, you're a dope head, and the guy's dying from cancer. So it's like, that was the straw that finally broke the camel's back, and Walmart finally fired her. But I was like, vindication finally. It's like yeah, it's like I told you, like she was a problem. So she also like it put it in. So I was thinking like, okay, so I wasn't like really serious about working at Walmart, of course. But my lawyer at the time was like, just apply to see what happens. I want to see if they blacklist you from the system or not. So I went in, sat at the little kiosk to apply to work for Walmart again, which was, like I said, hilarious. Because I wasn't going to do it anyway. And they go through and they give me the standard tests, like, do you think it's right or wrong to steal? Like, you know, are you a drug addict? Things like that. The usual things they give you on your application when you apply for Walmart. I finished that part and think, okay, well, at least I'm not blacklisted from the system. Then it gave me the department manager test, which is, they usually don't do, but I was a department manager previously with the company, so I'm like, okay, well, let's see what happens. So I take that, I get done with that stuff, and then the assistant manager training application pops up. And they wanted me to take that, and I passed that too, and then it became like, you have been blacklisted. It told me, like, literally, like, you were not able to be hired to work for Walmart Enterprises. You know, like, the company is like, that's funny. So they actually kept trying to disqualify me by having to take, like, all the stuff in the system that you're not supposed to be able to take right away. Like, you're not supposed to apply for Walmart and be able to take the supervisor or department manager test. That's just not how the company's built, but they flagged me in the system that way. So they pretty much, like, blacklisted me from working for the company, even though I went through and passed all their stuff, including the assistant manager test. Which, assistant manager for Walmart, I mean, if you like, it sounds like you've been part of that system before, the whole Walmart cog in the machine. Yeah! But, yeah, like, I actually turned down assistant manager programming, because it's like, it's literally programming. It's like, here, you have to read Sam Walton's book, and we're going to test you on certain chapters. You have to be able to quote things back. And it's just like, no, I don't need to be brainwashed to work a crappy job for 14 hours a day plus with, like, no days off, because you're literally a slave wage at that point. It's like, no thanks. I like my overtime. I like working electronics and making overtime and everything else there and talking nerdy stuff, video games, computers, and so forth. I'll just stay with that. Oh my gosh, why is this a 5-lap race? There. That's for annoying me. Ruining my paint job. Yeah, so like things I will not do anymore for a job or work retail or telephone support, like call center stuff. It's like, nope, I'm done with that. My dad's like, well, you know, if your back can't be fixed, you might want to, you know, look around and see what type of call centers we have here you can work in. I'm like, nope, not doing that. Don't care. I will be homeless. I'm not doing telephone support anymore. It's the last job I had that actually, like, broke my back, you know, it broke the back metaphorically. You know, maybe go, okay, time to switch careers. Was actually I was working for DirecTV. The scummiest people I've ever seen. Ever. Worst company you can think of. And it was like, if you call their tech support line, they literally do not have any tools whatsoever. They have two tools they use called RIO, which stands for Rolled In Together, which is basically like 20 different programs just stitched together from this thing that's like barely struggling to survive. It barely works. Yeah, exactly, and that's the fun part. You're gonna have fun trying to cancel that bad boy. So, did tech support, when you call them up there, they don't have any tools. Like when I work for AOL, you type in, like, are you getting an error code? Okay, that's a suicide car right there. But you type in an error code and bring up, okay, this is a known problem, here's how you fix these steps. DirecTV has none of it. It's up to the person on the line to figure out what exactly is going wrong and read through, like, manuals, like articles that they put up on their site to figure out what's wrong, and then you have to try to figure out how to tech it yourself. I'm like, why don't we have a database for what these known problems are and how to fix them instead of having the people try to interpret them? You know, it's like, oh, okay, it's like, you know, satellite's not getting signal. Well, why is that? Like, are they getting a code? Yes, error 72. Okay. You look up error 72, there's nothing about how to fix that. So you have to try to pull up a article that says, like, okay, person's not getting satellite signal. Well, is the weather bad outside, or it could be caused by a loose connection? And that's it. So you have to, like, basically pull stuff out of your butt to try to get their service working again. And then you get in trouble if you don't fix it. It's like, are you kidding me? It's like, there's no tools. They're like, you didn't use your resources. It's like, yeah, I did. You don't have resources for me to use. It's like, that's the whole problem. And then on top of that, like, I literally had, like, racist bosses. I usually don't swear on my channel, on my stream, but this time I'm going to, because I said she did not like me whatsoever. And she's talking to me on the phone because it was all telephone based. I was working from home. She was working from her home in South Carolina. And like get done like talking to her on the phone, so like I was like going toe to toe with her, like, hey, you can't write me up for this nonsense, you know, because like your tools, you don't have any tools to actually give me any help or anything. She's like, yo, that's what we're gonna do here, and that's just what we have to do, and like, you know, we'll mark it down here that you objected to it, and you know, well, hopefully next time will be better. Okay, so I'll talk to you later, Ken. I'm like, okay, no problem. Go to hang up, and she thought she hung up, she didn't. She's like, stupid motherfucking cracker. God damn it, I hate fucking white people. I'm like, oh, and these calls are recorded. It's like, I'm like, this is gonna be fun. So I called up HR. She's like, get back on the phones. Like, why are you not on the phones? I'm like, I'm taking care of something right now. So I looked up the number for HR and called them and said, hey, I just had I just got written up by my supervisor. And she thought her phone was hung up, and she said the following words. And it was all recorded, it's all done automatically, and they pulled it up, and sure enough, that's what happened. But at the same time that happened, we had just got notice that AT&T had bought out DirecTV, and we were getting laid off. So they didn't do anything to her. They said basically, like, you're still on her team, like she's still your supervisor, but she can't write you up or discipline you anymore. She's to have no contact with you whatsoever until like the next 2 months or so when you lose your job because you're getting laid off, and everybody's getting laid off because AT&T said we're gonna have our own people do this job. We're not gonna absorb you people in like from DirecTV. We're just gonna have AT&T employees handle it instead. So I had this like openly racist boss who hated my guts, you know, and everything. It's like I had and they were using Citrix, which was like a VPN, and it was like they were using the buggiest, outdated version of it, so it crashed constantly, and people would be thrown off, and they kept trying to blame me for stuff like that, and it's just like, it's not my fault, and they just kept going through and blaming me for things. I'm like, listen, I know I'm losing a job in 2 months anyway, I don't care, I'm gonna quit. So I'm like, you know, so I go to quit, and they're like, oh no. Like, I'm saying, hey, you know, I'm quitting my job. Here's your, like, I need to have the boxes sent to me because they give you free DirecTV service when you work for DirecTV, or at least you used to. I'm like, I need to return my receiver to you and everything. Like, you didn't quit, you were fired. I'm like, no, I quit. It's what they put down that they fired me. So it was like, people ask me, like, what happened to your last job? I'm like, I quit. They said they fired me. So it's like, that's what it was. They were just so crappy, like I was just so burned out by it. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Because before all this stuff happened, before the racist supervisor, the whole thing about not having the tools you need to do your job, they're like, hey, you have supervisor experience from your previous job. We want you to go into the supervisor training after like your probationary period is done as a new employee. And I'm like, okay, I can't keep doing this hired and fired stuff. Let's go into IT. Alright, so Nimix asks, also been confused when I hear someone talk about pulling something out of their butt. How exactly does that process work? Well, a lot of lube, that's optional, patience, bending over, breathing deep, and the things you pull out might not be exactly what you're looking for. I mean, you might find some bubble gum you may have lost. You might find that, you know, car remote, like your remote control for your TV that you don't know how it got up there, just like everything else that you go into the emergency room for, and I don't know how it got there. But yeah, just usually a lot of deep breathing, some yoga poses, some you know, hokey pokey, shake it all about, and hopefully something comes out. Or you could also just try like more fiber, that helps pulling things out easier too, I've heard, allegedly. Alright, so what do we got here? Crash nav. Ugh. Paradise Peril. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Because they have that heartbreaker right there. I'll take that. Oh yeah, it was just... Like I said, that was the worst job I had ever worked in my entire life. Like, hands down. Like, okay. It's like when you're told to intentionally lie to people, and you have, like, zero training on things, and they just wanted people on the phone, so it's just like, we just need a body to answer the phone. You know, it's just like, okay, I can't keep doing this. It's like, I gotta change into something. I gotta do a different job. I'll tell you though, when I worked at AOL, oh my gosh. So you may have heard like that old story floating around the internet about like a person calling for help for their internet's not working. It turns out that at the end that they're in the middle of, like, they have a power outage. That actually happened to me. That was a real story. I actually had that happen. So I'm going through and asking questions and stuff like that, and finally learned that they're sitting in the dark. I'm like, are there any streetlights outside? Because it was at night. They're like, no. I'm like, okay, you're in the middle of a power outage. That's why your computer won't turn on. That's why you can't connect to our services. Try it again when everything comes back up. Yeah, so I actually had that happen. Then I had, I talked to people who thought that the mouse was a foot pedal. They're trying to use it with their foot. That happened more than once. This is also back when mice had trackballs in them, before everything became lasers. So, I also had one person had the mouse flipped upside down and were trying to use the trackball with their thumb. And then, of course, we had the usual person who thought that the CD-ROM tray was a cup holder. You had to tell people which way to put the CD in, shiny side facing down. My favorite question also to ask was, what version of Windows are you using? I also did Mac support later when I got into free features and premium services, but that was like maybe 2 calls, like maybe every 6 months you get from Mac. So, like, what version of Windows are you using? I don't know. Okay, click on your start bar, like click on the start button, lower left-hand corner, take your left ear, put it to your left shoulder, turning your head sideways, and people are like, what? I'm like, no, seriously, do it. And they're like, oh, Windows 98 or Windows XP. You know, I was like, okay, there you go. That's what version of Windows you have. That's back when they used to have Windows telling you what version it was going up the top. My favorite, when I asked somebody to do this, and they told me Windows 97 OS 10. I'm like, that's not a thing. Stop smoking dope. Try it again. And then if all else failed, we had our ace in the hole. This was the last ditch effort. Is there a child in the house I can speak to? And a lot of times, they're like, yes, like, I have my son. I have like my 6-year-old kid. I'm like, perfect, put him on the phone. And they'd be happy to. They're like, oh yeah, perfect. It's like, I talked to that kid to say, hey, you need to go and change these settings. They're like, okay, no problem. They do it. It's like, oh, thank you. It's like, next time your parents are having a problem with the computer, like when they get everything, all the information verified, have them put you on the phone. You're like, oh, wait a minute, what? Yeah, at AOL, we are also allowed to very politely tell people to take their computer back to the store. Like, if it was a brand new computer, like around Christmas time and stuff, because we'd have people, like, you talk to them and, like, you can tell they were just too dumb, like, you didn't know, like, how they were breathing. So it's like, you know, like, hey, like, we try to do stuff and they just uncooperative, couldn't figure it out, nobody there to talk to try to get through the process. Like, you even get the computer turned on, which is another thing. They call you and their computer wouldn't be turned on. You have, like, at your disposal, in front of your fingertips here, like, quadrillions of powers time more it took to land on the moon in front of you, and you need me to tell you to turn your computer on. But we'd say, like, hey, is, like, do you have your receipt still for your computer? Like, yeah. Like, what you can do if you really want to is you can actually, like, carefully box it back up, take it back to the store, and they'll give you your money back for it. And, like, you expect people to get upset? They would be, like, relieved. They're like, oh, really? I can do that? I'm like, oh, yeah. like, thank you, because, like, I hate computers and everything. I'm like, oh, no problems. Like, I'd made their day. Oh, by the way, if you pick up a 4 times and a 2 times, it gives you the 2. Gives you where the lowest one is. Yeah, so working at AOL was pretty wild. Yeah, don't know how they could be possibly breeding. That too. I mean, sometimes you just gotta wonder how people don't know how to, like, breathe or breed. It's like people say, like, man, I hate them. They're too dumb. Like, I hope they don't have kids. And, like, usually they're dumb as bricks themselves and have 5 kids hanging around them. It's like, well, it's too late for you. But that's just my take. Yay! There's 3 laps to the Burnout tour, so to speak. So I think that's all the crash ones for now. Let's see. Nope. Okay, so that's where it throws you off. So yeah, all these ones are done for now. Is there any more crashing here in the States? Yes, let's do that. I never did Crash Party. Like I said, the only one I did was Road Rage when I played online. Showdown. Pardon me. Okay, so double cross traffic. Oh, it's even better when you get the angry crackheads. They're hopped up, they're angry, and they don't know why. But it's your fault, they know that much. Uh-oh. Aerial explosion! Holy silver! Ooh. I also liked it when I got confused people when I worked at Walmart, because I was in the electronics department as the department manager. And you'd have people coming in wanting to buy video games that don't exist, like Halo on PlayStation 2. Which should tell you like how long ago that was. So like, what do you mean? No, it's on PlayStation 2. I played it last night. I'm like, no, it's for Xbox. Like, we have it for Xbox. But it's not a PlayStation 2 game. They're like, well, can you go in the back and check? Like, we were like making the games back there. I'm like, oh yeah, sure. No, we don't have it. My absolute favorite was this girl who came in wanting to buy Okami for the Wii. And she was a weeaboo, and she didn't know I spoke fluent Japanese at the time. And so she's like, yeah, I need this game, Okami. I'm like, what? Like, Okami. I'm like, I had to stop and think, like, is it for the Wii? She's like, yeah. Okami. I'm like, oh, you mean Okami? She's like, no, it's Okami. I know what I'm talking about. I'm like, okay, let's break this down. It's Okami, which means great wolf. It's 2 words together. In fact, the kanji right here on the box show great and wolf together, thus making it the full name together. You know, like making it is what it is. You know, I'm like, if you want, I can explain it to you in Japanese. And she just looks at me and gets like this really embarrassed, like embarrassed and angry face, and then leaves. Just turns around and walks right out of the store. It's like, don't tell me about a language I speak that I don't know what I'm talking about. And then say something wrong and then try to tell me that I'm wrong. It's like, that's not gonna happen. So I'm friend with Wertress. Oh, didn't make that. Setting S. GameStop order for me. I'll make the rest. Yes. Yeah. Well, she didn't call me Baka, thankfully. Wow, okay, that card just literally exploded from a fender bender. I've never seen that in this game, and I'm impressed. Yeah, but she was just like so dead set, like, I know what I'm talking about. It's like, no, it's not that. You're kind of wrong. Knocking my microphone around.
Yes.
Trying to help me be helpful.
Yes.
Help a crippled man.
Yes.
But yeah, it's like, people would say like, oh yeah, I want like Halo. Remember Halo for PlayStation 2? I'm trying to think what the other game was that didn't exist that people wanted. But the Halo one just stuck in my mind because she was like, literally like, let me speak to your supervisor about this. It's like, sure, he'll tell you the same thing. He plays games too. They just don't exist. Nothing, can't do it. How's my car door staying open like that at like 150 miles an hour? I mean, I'm asking these questions as like I'm crashing repeatedly and still being just fine. There's the 10. I'll have to explode myself. Yeah, I think that totaled me. Yep, that was it. Let's see what I got unlocked. Alright, let's do another crash. Crash is always fun. Smashing up cars on purpose. Let's see what we can do here. So what do I do now? I am unemployed. Living off my parents' generosity. I love you, Mom!
You cook. You cook.
Yeah, I cook is what she's saying here. She's actually helping me out. She's actually making my bed for me because it's one of my things that's really hard for me to do with my back right now. So I'm just trying to get my back fixed and fused so I can heal and then get a job. Because I've had 5 job offers I've had to turn down. Because I cannot physically do it, which is like the most annoying thing in the world. To like wanting to actually get out and like, yeah, I want to do these jobs and can't do it. Yeah, so my current job is basically just do everything I can to find a doctor or surgeon who's going to finally fuse my back. And get that done, hopefully heal up in 6 months, which is, I've been told it can take care from 6 months to a year. So I'm banking on 6 months. Yeah, it's like, fingers crossed, you know, it's worked so far for 2 years. And then finally get an IT job. How bad's the damage? I need to have L3, 4, and 5 fused. So if you don't know what that is, it's basically like you have the vertebrae in your back. You basically hold up your spine, all that lovely stuff. It's like the one that basically starts to connect to your hip bones, like your tailbone, like right on there, like the first 3 coming up. Those ones need to be fused. because the back's degenerating and the discs are going as well. Pardon me. And it's not anything like I said before. I'm not sure if you're in here for that, but it wasn't a car accident or falling off a roof or fighting ninjas. It was just like I woke up one day and my back started hurting and then just progressively kept getting worse. So I've had 2 surgeries for the discs in my back. Trying to like trim those up, it just still keeps going bad, and my back is literally unstable. So like if I like move wrong, or actually it's kind of weird if I button mash, which is really bad because I play Bayonetta 2, I speedrun that, which you have to do a couple times. It actually causes my spine to start shifting around, which is quite painful. Which is why I actually had to give up speedrunning Bayonetta 2 for a while until I got put on fentanyl. So yeah, so I'm just trying to like find anybody, doctor to finally, or surgeon to finally fuse it. So L3, 3, 4, and 5 need to be fused, and possibly they might go up as far as L2 just to help make sure everything's super stable. This looks like fun. So, like, currently I can't really walk. I can't drive a car because it hurts too much to try to put my foot down, so I couldn't stop in an emergency, like I couldn't hit the brake. Yeah, that's going nowhere. And like if I pick up anything over about 5 or 6 pounds, it like literally just causes like shooting pain right down my back. Because it's just like everything is kind of collapsing and the discs are blown out there again, so pardon me. So hopefully the new surgeon in Pittsburgh will finally go, okay, everything's, you've been through all these stuff here, let's just get it fused and get it done. Because my current pain doctor talked to my surgeon, tried to get him to burn out the nerves in my back instead, and then put me on medical marijuana. Which I do not function on pot. Yeah, 4 times. Hit that again, double explosion. Yeah! Take that, semi-truck. Yeah, so my pain doctor talked to my surgeon because they're in the same building. He's like, because my pain doctor's more preoccupied with keeping me as a patient instead of trying to get me fixed, which is downside. He's also super arrogant. And he basically bullied my surgeon, like, hey, you're a first year out, like out of residency here. You have to listen to what I say because I've been a doctor longer than you, one of those type of people. So he went from telling me that I was going to do a T-lift procedure, like T-lift type fusion on my back, to, well, let's just do what your pain doctor wants and burn out the nerves in your back and put you on medical marijuana, thus basically making you disabled. I'm like, gave him the finger, told him if he came close to me, I'd stab him in the neck. And that's what he said, well, let's send you to Pittsburgh because the surgeon there might actually do it because you're higher risk. It's like, I'm not higher risk. I know people who've had their entire lower lumbar fused. It's like, and that's not risky at all. It's just like, okay, you may not be able to like win at Twister anymore, but your life's gonna be improved. So now I gotta go on the 7th, I think it is, and drive all the way down to Pittsburgh. Actually have somebody drive me down to Pittsburgh. Yeah, I was actually at UPMC at first, because I'm up in Erie. So, yeah, but I'm like 2 hours north of you. So, the doctors originally sent me, the surgeon sent me down to Pittsburgh, like UPMC Presby, to get fixed. So I saw Dr. Cantor there, who actually went through and fixed the spinal fluid leak and took out a lot of the disc I had at L5S1. And he was fine, but then he's like, then I started getting continuing pain and the disc started coming out again. He's like, well, you need to have a fusion. So I saw Dr. Moosey down there, and he's just like crackpot, like old guy who doesn't understand humor. He's like, you have the body of a, like you have the back of a senior citizen who's 75 years old. I'm like, yeah, well, I feel like I'm 94. He's like, well, actually, sir, according to your records, it says you are 37 years of age. You are a male who is of this weight here, so there's a possible for you to be at an age of this. I'm like, oh my god, you don't understand humor. Okay, perfect. And he wanted to do back injections. He told me, he was the first one to say, you need to have a fusion for sure. Your back is sliding, your discs are all out, everything's a wreck. It's unstable, it's gotta go. But I'm not gonna do that. I want to do useless back injections instead. And he told me, and I quote, useless back injections. So I'm like, okay, great. So I had to come back up to Erie and then go through that process and all those hoops here with pain management. We have like Allegheny up here, but they had originally sent me down to the UPMC to get my initial surgery, the second surgery done. That's great. And then, so now they're sending me back down to Allegheny General to see Dr. Yu. So, yep, I've been traveling back and forth between Pittsburgh and where I live in Erie for 2 years now. Ooh, got that last time. Yeah! We'll keep going, I got that signature one. Yeah, so UPMC wasn't too bad. At least the neurosurgery wasn't. Their hospital is ridiculous though. Like Presby is just like it's 2 hospitals combined into one, and it takes a while to get anywhere. Okay, I'm going like 120 in the Cadillac's like, no, I'm gonna start taking you out. I don't feel like getting this race now. Oh yeah, it's huge. Come on, turn! There we go. It's weird, this game, like, the sense of speed is just so different. Like, you're going 134 and it feels like you're going slow. Like, right now, I'm like, oh, I'm not going fast enough, I'm only going like 140. There's the finish race. I'm like, where's the finish? I know these are long races, but oh. Ah. Fingers locking up. Alright, so let's do another race. We'll do another crash, and we'll probably call it for now. Really wanted to unlock that F1 race, because one of these events unlocks, I remember pretty early in the game, like you actually get to race around an F1 car. I think it's like a burning lap, which is just like pure insanity, but I want to get that going, because that's just a lot of fun to show off. It's like the F1 car in this game is, you blink and you crash. You're just moving so ridiculously fast. Nope, still not open yet, so let's try... We'll try this. Okay, so it's a face-off series. Doesn't matter if you use a faster car or not, because they're pretty much going to match you anyway. So we'll do this race, see what unlocks, and then we'll do a crash or two, and then probably call the stream. For today, at least. I'll probably be streaming tomorrow. Like I said, I usually alternate back and forth between Bayonetta 2, so... probably expect a speedrun for that tomorrow. In what category, I don't know. Might do Jean again, we'll just see, because I figured out, like, last time, like, if I'm too tired, I can't do Jean. Because you have to be on point with your parries for that, for your witch time activation. Yeah, he just crashed into the wall, but he's right up again. You know, right up on me again. Definitely not rubber banding. This game wouldn't dare do that. Almost cut that one a little too close. Ah, crap. Now I've most likely lost. Okay, that got lucky. Oh, come on. So right there I've lost the race, because there's no way it's going to let me catch up in time. I know we got to be coming to the end of it. You see the rubber banding and crazy, because I'm standing here like in driving in oncoming traffic. Wow, okay. Well, I guess the game felt guilty. Well, we'll crash right in front of the finish line for you. Because if it didn't, there's no way I would have won that race. Alright, so let's do one more crash. So what card did it give me? Usually once a head-to-head is whatever you were just facing off against. Okay. leap of death. How leap of faith? I thought I said leap of death for a second. I'm like, that's even cooler. How could we not? So the trick in this one is actually to fall off the overpass, land down below. I'm not gonna make it on that one. I gotta hit that. Gotta hit the explosion one. There we go. Come on, slow down, slow down. Yes, there we go. I don't know if it's gonna time me out or not. Yeah, time me out before I get to 4 times. Boo! Let's try that again. So that one's really hard because you gotta be able to like try to stop your momentum. You need to cause a crash on the top and then on the bottom. Nope, missed it. Oh, this one's such a pain in the butt. Alright, one more time for the restart, then if that doesn't work, then we'll try the next crash. This one takes a while to get just right. Here we go. And that's how you do that one. Restart it like 10 times, then you'll finally get it. Maybe a lesson, kids. If you don't get what you're looking for, just keep doing it over and over until the game finally says fine. We made headlines. Hundreds dead and pile up. Yes. 10th time on the first time, no problem. Alright, Danger Zone. If this doesn't have Kenny Loggins playing, then I don't want to live anymore. Not on this planet, at least. We'll go somewhere else where they're going to have Danger Zone and Kenny Loggins instantly starts playing. You just have to say the word Danger Zone and you'll just hear the music playing out of somewhere. Didn't get into traffic. See if I can hopscotch over there. Yeah! Okay, now I need to stay in place where I can possibly hit that heartbreaker. There we go. Yay, more events for another time. Alright, and with that... we've reached the end of the stream for today, at least. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. Do appreciate it. Yep, so Sakido, thank you very much if you for the follow. Appreciate that. Nimix, T. Wallace, Ronnie showed up, and I think that's it for all people who chatted today. No, Jay showed up, that's right, as well. And anybody else lurking, everybody's always cool. Lurkers are always welcome to my stream, of course. So, for those of you who may be new here and haven't heard my spiel before I do at the end of every single stream, I do tend to stream at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you don't know when that is, just type that into Google and it'll tell you wherever you are in the world. You can also check me out on Twitter at Wurzel555. Basically, I usually post up there about every 2 to 3 hours, like when I'm going to stream, about 2 to 3 hours in advance, what I'll be playing, or if I need to cancel the stream or whatever there, it'll be posted up there so you can stay in the loop. So, as I mentioned, tomorrow, most likely be doing another Bayonetta 2 speedrun. Not sure what I'll do. I really want to do Jean, because I'm like 40 seconds off the world record for normal category with her, so I really want to snatch that up. But it all depends on like how alert I am or how tired I am, so we'll see. But it's definitely going to be Bayonetta 2, so if you want to see a speedrun of that, if you've never seen one before, you'll have fun with that. So let's see, is anybody streaming right now? Cap, nah, we won't host him for now. He's doing his own thing. He's fine. So we'll just let the auto thing decide if it's going to host anybody. But thanks for hanging out, and hopefully see you guys next time.